Michelle LLC here. Hope you're awesome. Hope you're great. What a concept I am going to be touching base on today. Man, you gotta just check this out. Check it out. Life is a beautiful thing, especially when we allow access to infinite intelligence, its playground. If you remember nothing else, please remember and share with those you influence. You are a magnet guided by your thoughts and feeling. Pay attention to how you feel, especially when you think. It is a gauge to help you determine whether or not you're in alignment with what you say you want. Practice imagining the end results. Feel it in your core. Allow the energy to build up and use it to fuel your dreams. Use this to motivate yourself when you can't see how. Know your why is key. You were created on purpose for a purpose, and that is to be in the image of God. God has no limits, so neither do you. So listen, I'm so excited because of the fact that I've come to some true clarity around some of the things that are taking place. And I'm just going to share a quick story about some of the things that have been going on. Some know it, some don't. Doesn't really matter, but here it is. So my son just went to college, did the drop off with him and his dad. And over the last year and a half, well, maybe just less than a year, I've had some situations that have taken place that have led me to have disrupted sleep. Feeling like when I go to sleep, I'm being pulled out of my sleep, and it's just like this, like a strangling feeling, and I can't breathe. I just feel like I'm drowning in air. And it's been an ongoing experience with certain individuals, certain tools to kind of help me relax through this experience. But it hasn't ceased. It's been kind of like this underlying thing that's just been there. And so I just recently went to the Garden of Eden to be put in isolation in a camper out in the middle of this property where there was no technology, or very little technology, and no running water in the space that I was in. And it was just pretty much get back to the earth. And I found myself wanting to be back home where I was uncomfortable because my discomfort there was so outlandish that I was just like, I would rather be home versus being there and being present to really go through the experience. Well, that lasted a day and a half. And every day I had a new moment of clarity, which was just like profound what happens when you're in a place of silence, which is one of the reasons why you'll hear people that have these life-altering experiences with the spirit. A lot of times they've had a situation where they've been put in isolation, where they've been incarcerated, whether they've just kind of been isolated from others, lost their housing situation, and put in scenarios where it's like they had to spend time alone, because that alone time is really powerful. So I start with that. Your alone time to do deep diving is hugely important, and it's essential to be able to really tap into what is going on within you, to be able to come to these clarities, and to really receive the downloads and have the time to process them and allow the full message to come in and be spoken. And that in itself can be a challenge, because it can be very daunting to have all this information coming in and feeling like everything is being uprooted and destroyed around you. But this is a normal feeling and a normal part of the process. So one of the things that recently happened was in taking my son to college, I have been an emotional wreck, right? not because he's going to college, not because I'm sad that he's leaving or this thing that I want him here. It's more because of the fact that I'm having to re-identify myself and look at what my life has been set around and how it's been set up, and how a fundamental part is being shifted and changed. And change can be very uncomfortable. But the reality is we go through it every single day. We just go through it in such small increments that it doesn't really seem to be something big. When something big happens, we might not have the tools, or might not be prepared to really deal with it. And so I have been going through a transition that has been really beautiful in terms of just self-awareness and awakening. And one of the things that those that are close know, that my sleeping patterns have been completely messed up, and the feeling of just peace or joy hasn't been present. And I was driving back after a very emotional drop-off with my son. I drove up with him, and in a minute crying with him and just laughing and singing and whatnot. And then on the drive back, I drove back with his father, and his dad and I were talking about just different things that had been taking place. And I asked him about some stuff that was going on in his life, and he said once he got past the anxiety and was able to sleep again, things started getting clear. And I was just like, what are you talking about, anxiety? And so what was interesting is he said to me, you remember back when I had these panic attacks, back this happened, this happened. And I was just like, honestly, I don't remember. But in that moment, it was like he described how, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't relax. And I had this epiphany that on a scale, we just have a scale here, right? We have this scale. Whether you're here, this is a certain type of energy. 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 You can be anywhere on the spectrum of where you fall in it, but you are in a collective space of energy, right? So when you're feeling happy and you're just like, this is amazing, you are in a collective space with millions of other entities that are feeling the exact same way. When you are sad, you are in a collective spectrum of people feeling the same way. When we dropped our son off at school, we were in a collective energy of other parents experiencing the same exact thing that we were experiencing. Now, the details may look a little different, the reactions may look a little different, but the full spectrum of that energy is one that you're tapping into. We're always tapping into these energies. We're always tapping into this space where we're not in it alone, because there is no such thing as alone. While this is a solo journey, and while you are here doing things in a space where it's like this is you're not alone in this space. Any moment that you're feeling anything, you are surrounded by a collective consciousness that is feeling the same way. Whether it's fear, excitement, love, hate, joy, whatever it is, you're in a space with multiple other entities, multiple other people feeling the exact same way, which for me was really powerful, because in this moment where we started talking about this, the biggest part of what I was feeling dissipated, which was loneliness or separateness, right? Because when I felt peace around this, and when I felt like I was overcoming it, was when I was tapping into the aspect of the grandmother, Ra, the divine mother, saying like, I hand this over to you. Like, this is bigger than me. I can't do this alone. I'm handing this over to you. Guide me. Then all of a sudden, because I don't feel alone, I'm empowered in this experience because I'm now surrounded. But the reality is that we're always surrounded in everything that we do. Think about the storming of the White House. We had how many thousands of people, or hundreds of thousands, it was hundreds of people or thousands of people, collectively came together to say, this is what we want. And they were in action. And their emotions showed up, and these people did this. But then I guess it was hundreds of thousands of people, because at the same time, there were people at home that were going like, hell yeah, that's it, gotta take over the Capitol. And they're not doing this alone, because we're not ever doing this alone. There is no such thing as alone. It is a matter of tapping in and awareness. And it is the lie of fear that makes you feel like you're separated and that there's somehow something out there that you're missing or that you're alone, because we're not. There is energy all around us. We're tapping in to these things, which leads me to this point. If we are collectively always tapping into this energy that allows us to veer from here to here in terms of where we are, and we're always able to kind of move through the space and be on a top level, high vibration, or a low level, low vibration, on this side of the spectrum, it means we have way more control than we give ourselves credit for. And we need to start tapping into that, which is magical. When we start to tap into the magic within us and start seeing like, wow, my powerful, positive thoughts can create positive, powerful conversation, which will yield positive, powerful results. And then I remove the fear and replace it with the faith. And I operate in a space where my movement is in honor and direct relation to the Divine Mother, to the great grand Holy Mother herself, to Ra as the power that is. And so when we're able to move from a place of like me, the fearful me, to a space of the powerful I, man, the myself moves in such a distinct, intentional flow. And we stop being accidental, and we start being intentional, and we start being powerful in the things that we create. And so that's where I'm at right now. I just wanted to share with you this beautiful movement that is taking place. And I just wish for you the absolute best. Sending you love and light. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hope you're awesome. Know you're great. Sending love. Bye.